Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Reality Kingdom, where we put the real in reality or whatever. Period. We're here with the wonderful Todd and Ashlie from Amazing Race 35. How are y'all doing?
We're hanging in there. We're doing good. I mean,
doing great. I mean, Pharaoh, Lee, thanks for having us on. And you know what? This new season is looking pretty awesome.
Interesting.
Yeah,
I would
very
say interesting,
Yeah.
but I just gotta say, like, I'm kind of fanning out right now because you guys got me through all of last season. You guys were like my top recaps. You guys kept me laughing.
She's your fangirl for
Ooh,
sure.
For sure.
Thank you so much. That really does mean a lot, especially because y'all, we're watching y'all, and we don't ever expect like people to like. I don't know, like when we're doing it, we never expect people to actually like see it. I feel like we just get on here and talk, so it really means a lot that y'all actually enjoy it.
I know, right? We're supposed to be the fans, and for y'all to like listen to.
I was tuning in like more so than probably you guys were tuning into us. So
it's true, and that says a lot because she listens to like all the podcasts, and you guys are definitely her favorite.
Yeah,
so
you guys had me
like
rolling.
You
had me laughing.
Sure.
So.
Thanks so much. We love you guys. We loved watching you guys the whole time. If you're listening, you heard what we were saying. But but we did like y'all. We would love to see y'all back on the screens again.
Us too.
Thank you. God's ears, please. Yeah.
Because we would tweak a lot of things if we ever got back on that race.
Mm-hmm.
They're definitely in the need for a returnee season. Like I was doing my binge, and like those are my favorites. So like. Yes. Definitely.
Agreed.
Yeah, and you definitely see a lot different strategies from I think most of us from our season at least. Yeah,
it's interesting to watch seasons like all-star seasons with the same previous racers, and their approach is completely different. Maybe not all of them, but you do see that they're a little more cutthroat on those all-star seasons. So my claws will come out if that's ever.
I was going to ask what you guys would change, but I mean,
everything. We would change everything.
I think we would. Yeah, I would definitely like not be afraid to go it alone and like not help anyone.
Oh, you mean? I thought you meant like without me.
Oh no, us too.
That's what I was going to say. Like, hold on, wait.
No, but like us two just split from the pack. Like our season helped each other out a little too much.
Yeah, we were way too nice. I would not like.
Y'all was real friendly. Y'all really was.
Robin and Chelsea wasn't helping nobody though. Robin and Chelsea didn't help nobody all season. So y'all just have to be on their type of time.
I know.
Be like that.
Yeah. So I would do things completely different. I wouldn't help. I wouldn't give out answers. Like Todd said, I wouldn't be afraid to kind of just go off on our own. Maybe do a little sabotage. So I'm not kidding when I say I would do everything
like
different.
not even like not help, but like totally give the wrong answer. Hey, where is it? It's that way.
And just like knowing it's not for sure.
We like hiking need to see that.
Me and Pharaoh said the same thing. Like if we was out there, we're not helping for what? I'm sorry, I can't do it. Not, especially if I'm towards.
We can barely help ourselves. So why would we help?
I can't help you. I'm trying to figure it out too.
We need all the help we can get, and if that means
lying, I will lie.
Sending you in the wrong direction. Yeah, for sure.
I feel like y'all were a pretty strong team. Like even thinking back when y'all did go home, it was like I feel like it was like small. Like it wasn't necessarily like a huge blunder, and it was like the last few teams. So I feel like y'all could definitely get far again.
I think that we would win if we got back on. I'm gonna say that.
Period.
Yes.
Well,
honestly,
we would have won if we got that express pass that we walked right by. I think that would have put us right in the top 3.
Let me take the knife out of my heart because
I was like, no. I was so sad. I was so sad.
I'm still not over it.
No.
I'll never be over it.
We literally probably fight about it like twice a month.
It's still her fault, by the way.
Oh my god. But no, honestly, the fight is entertaining. Like we like to see it, so even that is fun to see too. But this season on this episode, we saw very off at the beginning of the episode. We saw Shalisa and Derek. They were arguing and bickering a lot too. So I did want to ask y'all, when y'all would bicker, do y'all feel like that? How did y'all feel like y'all would handle that? How do you like lessen that? Because if they're already bickering leg 2, what y'all gonna do? You know what I'm saying?
Oh, we were bickering like before the league started. So it was like before the season started. So I think like depending on who you go on with, like it's to be expected. And I think sometimes, like, I know for me, when I get nervous, I tend to like be very like short and snippy, and like I take out my nervous energy on Todd. So if he's like, hey, let's have a good time, I'll be like, I'll react in a way that's like just very snarky, and then we just like this, you know. So
and when the pressure is on with me, I kind of like loosen up and get a little goofy, and so it's
with
not
Mr. 2 Chainz over here, and I was like all wound up, like ready to pop, and he was just like, need to relax.
But don't get it twisted. I mean, we argue just like these other married couples, and that's what's interesting about this season is there's a lot of married couples on there.
There is,
there really are.
And so I think it's an editor's choice when to show, because we bickered, for sure we bickered, but you know, they didn't like a lot of it. They
reserved that for later on in the season.
I feel like usually the married couples, they usually do really, really well on the Amazing Race. I wonder what that is.
They do pretty good. But they said, Shalisa and Derek said they knew each other longer than some of these people were even born. So it could be that too.
That's true. Those are the grandparents, right?
Yes.
Okay, I'm still trying to work through names. I like group them. So the grandparents for sure. I think, you know, the ones that live in El Toloma. They live like not. Oh, here we go.
That's why we do it. That's why we do it.
Oh, okay. Now I know who they are.
And he's a police officer, right? Yeah. He's a lieutenant. So they're, you know,
I kind of like the bickering because it just shows me that they like. I honestly feel sometimes that's how I communicate, which is probably not healthy. It's maybe toxic, but sometimes I'm like, I don't know how else to express this, but you're not listening to me, or like, you know, A, B, C, or D. And I kind of feel like they are going to go pretty far just because they have that dynamic and they've been together for so long. So it's like, clearly it's working. I'm interested to see how
they never stopped. Like they would bicker, but they just kept going, and they got third. So it's like, okay, they bickered to third place. Like,
and they're in such like great shape. I mean, I don't know how old they are. The grandparents.
The life goals right there.
She was all like she was running, and I'm like I was walking half the race. So I mean, they were impressive.
They were very impressive, honestly. And they stayed in third the whole time, which was really cool. And like you said, Lee, like they never stopped going, which was interesting because there's some teams who they argue and they bicker, and then they
gotta
have
pause.
They have to pause or have to get like they're so upset about it they don't want to go fast. No. But they were still moving. And I think it's like if you know someone really, really well, it's a benefit in the race because it's like we've been knowing each other. I know they're gonna bicker. I know they're gonna argue, and we just gonna move on.
Yeah, fight while you're moving. Right. Like there's no reason to stop. Like, hey, what I'm gonna say, I can say when we're running. I don't need to pause and have like a moment. Like, let's just keep moving.
Plus, like that's marriage or any long-term relationship. Like you've been through it. Whatever you're bickering about, I'm sure you've bickered about it before.
Right.
Life goes on.
For sure.
Keep it moving.
That's very true. Okay, Lee, we gotta take notes.
Right. Oh no, I'm taking mental note. I know. Trust me, we're gonna win. I'm manifesting it.
Okay, I love that for us. If I ever decide to do it. Okay, so the detour this episode, guys. The detour this episode was balloon collection or color correction. You either got to carry some balloons across the thing, or you got to correct the colors of this long string of da 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 da. Just the descriptions. I was like, why would I do that?
But this is what I'm saying. Like, I feel like there's so many situations where the choice is obvious to me. Like, I'm grabbing these balloons.
Well, you know, like after watching it for like 5 seconds, you're like balloons, 100%. But at the time when you choose it, you don't know. But to me, I don't think these were evenly matched. One was like a work, like just power through, and the other one was like a needle in a haystack.
But I kind of feel like the balloons weren't even work. Like you like had to carry balloons, like
they're
weighted. And then the other one was like you had to like pinpoint specific, like it would just was
I still don't understand the rules.
Like even
and everyone was confused
that color one, the flags, like even if you were good at it, I feel like it still would have taken more time.
I agree.
So I don't think those were like evenly matched at all. So balloons,
that was very weird. I'm kind of curious, like I don't know why people, it's not even no shade, but why would you pick that? Why would you pick the one that's telling you it's literally balloons? I get it, like how y'all did the mattress one. I get if it says carry these 2 big ass mattresses. You don't want to carry the mattresses, but this is balloons, baby. You can't carry the balloons? I don't know. I don't know.
It will
Maybe
lift
I'm tripping.
and float you to your, like, I mean,
right. And it's like,
maybe, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah. And, you know, like our thing was like, hey, if there's like attention to detail challenge or like just work, like hard work. We're going to choose the hard work every time because it requires no brain, no nothing. You just go and get it, right? And you just power through.
But good on the twins because like they showed up and they were like immediately no, like we're not doing it. Like they saw that it was just too much. It was like sensory overload and so that they made a really good decision on not staying there for too long and just being like we're out, you know?
Right.
Ooh, you know what I actually really liked this episode was Letitia and Rod. They were in first place the whole time. Shout out to them. And when they got to the detour, Letitia felt like they should do color correction, and Rod was like, "We just need to do the balloons," because she was so tired. And I get it because this was kind of like a megalith. First of all, this was a megalith. What was this? Do y'all know what this was?
I'll tell you what it was.
It was a full leg with like a tiny, little leg. This did not feel like a megalith.
When I was watching it, I was like, I was in it, right? And then all of a sudden, they're like, "Go to the pit stop."
I was like,
"Girl,
the episode is over."
I just started eating popcorn. How are we at the pit stop right
now?
That
was like 15 minutes in.
Yeah. So I don't know what this was, but again, I think a lot has to do with because this was originally filmed to be an hour show, so they went back. That's my guess. But okay, back to Rod and is it Letitia?
Yes.
The rock paper scissors.
That's how I love that.
That's a bad strategy.
I don't like that.
You don't like that?
I don't like it. No. You're putting way too much in fate. Like, like go with what your strength. So this is kind of where we decided, like, if obviously, like what we talked about, if it was something, a challenge that like catered a little more to someone's strength, I'm going to let them decide if they're going to do it, like what we're going to do, right? Because I know that he's going to be really good at eating weird stuff, right? So like, whether I want to do it or not, I know he's going to crush it. So let's just do that, you know? So I always say go with like someone's decision based on like if they're confident in it. Don't leave it up to the rock, paper, scissors fate. I wouldn't.
I love that because initially watching, I'm thinking, you know, I ain't never played before. I'm thinking, oh, so y'all don't have to take time deciding. But what you're saying makes a lot of sense because Letitia, would you have clocked all of them changes on all of them things while you was trying to say to do that? And it's like they crushed it when they did the balloons because all you was doing was walking with balloons. So
yes. And I will say what I like, the Rod and Letitia, what resonated with me with both of them is in the very beginning, she was like, I'm really concerned about keeping up with Rod. Like he's, you know, and that's how I felt with Todd. Like that was my biggest concern is because they're both ex-pro athletes. Todd can run. And I don't know if you guys remember in the opening scene of our episode when Phil says go, Todd bolts and I'm like speed walking behind. But like I think I really resonated with her because I'm like, it really is a difference because you're so
I feel like that's a lot of married couples though, you know, there's always gonna be one stronger athletically, you know. So
I see
that. But like I get it.
But I don't like that rock, paper, scissors strategy. I did catch someone, I forget what team, but they said, hey, I saw a lot of people carrying balloons. We need to do that one because it seems like everyone's doing that one. That was a great strategy. You got to like take in your surroundings and kind of like, you know, see what everyone else is doing because sometimes that will help.
Right. Yeah. Like staying with the pack, basically.
Yeah. And there's a danger in that, but there's also a safety in that as well.
I definitely want to see who else is around me. Okay, I just gotta get ahead of them. I just gotta make sure I'm ahead of them.
I would hate to be at a detour
Rod
alone.
Running by, like, nah, I'm not gonna stay with him. But you see, like like some of the twins, you're like, okay, I could beat them. Like, let's go.
Exactly.
There was one on our season, and I think it was Liam and Jeremy. Which, by the way, the twins remind me of Liam and Jeremy.
Oh, I see that. I see that.
Like,
the personality.
The free
like the
flowing.
dude, what's up, dude?
Yeah. But I think that their strategy for the roadblocks was rock, paper, scissors. So like, because that like you don't have a lot of information to go on when you open the clue for the roadblock. So I think they actually did rock, paper, scissors to decide who.
I still don't like that though, because you got to read the description, and like if one says like who likes to dunk, right? Like, oh, that sounds like basketball. I'll do that one. You know.
Yeah. Imagine if I was like, I win rock, paper, scissors, and I had to go dunk. I would like be okay.
Or it's like, hey, like makeup, like no, that's all you. Like you
for sure,
makeup,
for sure.
So.
That's true, and I feel like if they're bringing that up, it probably works better with Liam and Yurumi because they're more similar. Like they kind of have similar, pros and cons. Whereas y'all were so different, which I think is also helpful to have a partner who's different from you because then their strengths aren't the same as yours, so y'all can do more things.
Yeah, I mean, diversity in anything is like better because you have multiple facets where you could be good. Like you're good at certain things and I'm not, and vice versa. So perfect.
That's very true. Definitely. So the another thing I noticed this episode was Cesar, and Ricky were like competing very hard to get that first place with Letitia and Rod. And it was interesting because there was even a moment where I think the yellow team, the grandparents were like asking for help. And Cesar and Ricky, they didn't even care. They didn't help them at all. And they were like, we competed first. And it's like
that sent me
so early. I'm like, you could have maybe just been like, oh, it's over there, girl. Because like you're in first place, or well, they were in second. But I get it, but also I don't know.
But see, that's a double-edged sword for sure. Because especially so early on in the race, like I don't know, do you want to show your cards now to be a team that like think about Chelsea and Robin, like immediately out the gate, they were like, we're not helping. We don't like you. We're not helping you. And so everyone kind of got that vibe. And so it was just, everyone already knew like, well, they're not willing to help. So target on your back for U-turn or whatever. So I think it's a double-edged sword where our approach was, hey, let's be nice to everyone. Let's help early so that it can come back to us at a later point in the race.
The problem is you get so caught up in that mindset that like, I mean, hold on, sorry about that. The problem is you get so caught up in the helpful mindset that like when it's time to kind of buckle down, you tend towards like Ashlie at the Cologne Bridge helping Rob, like why did you help him? We're too late in the game.
I don't know why I did.
But it's your natural instinct, right? But so it is what it is. I think there is an art to like not helping, but doing it in a nice way.
Yeah.
Right? Like, hey man, I would love to, bro, but this is a game show. Sorry.
That would make me even madder.
Them just like kind of just like not saying nothing a little bit. I was just like, well, damn, because I feel like I agree. Like I feel like I would not help, but it would be in a situation of like if I'm in 11th place, I'm not saying shit to nobody.
Right. Don't take it personal, right?
Or like if it's top 6, I'm probably not saying anything. Like you should know then. But I feel like this early you can do it only because I've seen so many teams go home because they haven't helped people, so they get U-turn. Like it almost happened to Chelsea and Robbie. So it's like you do sometimes I feel like have to kind of like give a little because I mean from what we saw in the edit, they were way ahead. Like I don't think it would have changed much, but I mean you really never know. But I mean, hey.
Well, I know with our season, what we did is we helped, and then when Ashlie was in the glider. We were all talking and we all agree like, hey guys, we love each other. Everything's cool, but like, hey, like, let's not help each other anymore. Like, and
the race is getting tight
and everyone
now.
agree like, hey, we agree. Like, let's like, don't take it personal.
Yeah.
Right. And so I think just getting ahead of it and being open and honest about it, I think that's the best policy where Chelsea and Robin, like they didn't even say, sorry, can't help you. They would literally just ignore you and act like they didn't hear you. Right. Like that's probably the worst strategy. Like, hey,
like,
and they're all,
we see you.
Yeah, and they're like, just pretend they're not there. Yeah, that's not the good strategy.
Oh Lord.
Like I totally respect. Like, hey, sorry, I would love to help. You can't. I respect that. I don't respect the like, hey, can you help? And then they just run by,
ignore you like that.
With Caesar and Ricky is, I think what that like them not willing to help really kind of set them apart in a way because they came to win. Like they're not here for I think like Team Walla Walla, like they're here for the experience and it's such a cool experience. I think even the twins said the same thing, which I said the same thing in the beginning. I'm like, I want to have fun. This is gonna be like I was like, I want to like, I'll do whatever.
Right. I mean, this is $1 million. Like,
yes, right.
But
I think Ricky and Caesar, like, they're just from the get-go, they're like, we're here to win. So
and they're gamers. They could do it. They could win.
Yeah.
I
think they can too. I am very impressed by that.
I feel like Letitia, Rod, Cesar, Ricky, like I see them being at the top of the pack this entire season. Genuinely.
I do too.
I don't think anyone's gonna touch them. Like maybe Derek Schlissa and Juan and Shane can like, sneak a few, but I feel like in general this top 4 is gonna stay up here.
Yeah,
I think so too.
Definitely seems that way. Like we were actually watching it, like, man, those top 3, 4 are tough, but like everyone else, like, man, I wish we did this season. We probably would have.
They ain't even on shake. They're not like gamers like that. I feel
our season, like, I don't think anyone walked ever. Like we're always running.
Yeah, we're pretty competitive.
The only time you stopped is when to ask a question to somebody. Like we were running all the time. And like on this season, you see people just like kind of cruising and I'm like, wow, that's not how it was for us.
Yeah, I do hope that we see some, like, I hope that it's not just them, like those 2, 3 every week, because then that's gonna be a little like, sorry guys.
You're good.
It's okay,
that is gonna be annoying though. That really would be annoying.
Well, yeah. So I just think that I wouldn't say I would lose interest, but it would just kind of drag on. So I'm really hoping that we see maybe like, imagine like Team Walla Walla pulling out of first place over.
And I like Team Walla Walla because
I love Angie and Danny.
We saw kind of the contrast with them this episode because when who was asking them for some help later on? Later on, they were running and later on in the race, and they were asked for help for someone, and they literally said, Danny said it was. And Danny was like, I'm going to help them because it's so early in the race, and I feel like I trust that Amber and Vinny will come back and help us later on. So I'm choosing specific. It was so very well thought out for him to have just randomly been running past them. He's a super
fan. Like that is kind of like a known strategy. Like if you watch these previous seasons, like you help each other. Like I will say, like watching older seasons, they helped each other like a lot. Like it was a lot of like alliances, like dead on. Like we are an alliance and we're gonna work together to get to this next phase of the game. Like, and I feel like you see that a lot less. But I like that camaraderie a little bit because it's a little bit more, I don't know, slightly strategic.
Yeah, agree.
And the one thing that this season has, that every season has, that I think the viewers don't really know is one of the things is like you are so stressed the whole time.
Yeah.
And everything is so difficult that like making alliances almost seems like the thing to do. Right. And like, so I think in our season, Anna Lee did a good job of like trying to make sure she's everyone's friend, but alliances could be dangerous too, you know, so you never know.
Yeah.
Yeah, very much so. We did get a few scenes this episode about, I guess more just to learn a little bit more about the cast, because we saw Yvonne and Melissa scene and how they talked about how they're there to like build trust with their relationship. I always found that interesting, like, when people are in a relationship and they're coming on here and they're talking about how we have this problem, because they said, I think Melissa says that Yvonne, I don't trust Yvonne without verification. I need trust and verification, and I kind of want to drop that verification part. And it's like, that was so interesting to me. I was like, okay, y'all better fix that, queens.
And quick. You better fix that quick.
If Ashlie said that on national television, I would be like, that's shots fired. Like, it's like not okay. Like, trust but verify. Like, are you serious? Are you serious right now?
And she was so dead ass. That's what's crazy. She was so serious.
I feel like what does that like detail? Like, how far does that go?
Right? I don't think that's gonna get worked out on the race. I think
that might be a personality thing, you know? I don't know. Trust but verify. I mean, man, that's like.
Do y'all feel like the race was able to like, I guess, change anything with y'all relationship, or is this like, I mean, we was here before, we here after?
Yeah, like I think because I think we have such a history together that it really didn't change, other than us like, you know, now having these like cool memories where we can bicker over now. But it really hasn't like changed anything. I think if anything, and I said it when we got eliminated, it just like reinforced everything that like I know about him. And you know, it's just like he's so great with like being able to connect with other cultures and and make alliances, and he, so it just kind of re-solidified what I already knew about him.
Not me. I learned some stuff about Ashlie.
What you talking about, Ashlie? What did you learn?
Because she's chill usually. She's like, but on that show, she was so intense. I've never seen her so intense, and that actually made me proud. I was like, okay, she's like the competitor, and then I found myself when she started getting intense. I found myself like kind of getting less intense, and I realized like, hey, we balanced each other out well. Like, it was just a thing. I didn't even have to think about it, right? So. But I mean, it got carried away sometimes with my 2 Chainz bit. But I definitely learned that she's a gamer and she's ready to play when it comes to
it. Yeah, that's true.
That's interesting because Michelle and Sean kind of said later in the episode. Michelle said, I'm learning, like I'm remembering why I'm with him rather than like trying to learn to change anything. She's like, oh no, this is just reinforcing the thing. It's kind of similar to what y'all said. So that's really cute. I love that.
Yeah. I couldn't imagine going on this race with someone that I wasn't familiar with, or like a new or even just like dating maybe even a year, because it really does push both of you as individuals and then as a team. And so I mean,
right, and it'd be weird going with like someone that's not like husband wife, because it's like, hey, you lost me $1 million, dude.
Right.
Yeah,
he can't say that to me.
I can't say that to my wife.
With me.
Yeah. Like, no, we lost it. We were one
together.
Y'all are a team. Period. So we saw more scenes for the color correction detour because Sunny and Busy chose to go there. Don't know why, but they did, and they were struggling for a while. And then everyone else who chose to go there literally left. The only people who completed that challenge was Sunny and Busy.
And that was 10 years later.
That is so true. And it took them a long time. And I'm like, girls, why did y'all choose to do? And you know what? They're a team I feel like who could sneak their way a little bit up, because I think they're strong. If they would have chose the right one, I think they would have been way higher.
They would have. I agree with you.
But I think choosing the right one is like a very specific. It's very important, right? Like when you do something, you really got to know like what you and your partner are good at,
race,
right? And like you need to know the history of the game too, because when you read that, you're like, okay, one is like, hard work, and the other one is a needle in a haystack. I've seen this too many times. We're on season 36. Like I've seen this 35 other times.
Yeah.
Like statistically, we got to go with the balloons.
I agree.
The history of the game comes through too. So
you also should you should be, I feel like, comfortable enough to switch when you know you need to. Like if you need to switch, you got to switch.
Agreed.
We did that with the soccer one. I was like, okay, wrap it up.
We gotta go.
Yeah.
That's such a hard decision, I feel, because when you got to switch, you have to go to the entire other one. The twins almost got lost finding the balloons, but they're so happy go like, it's okay, we'll find it. It's like, okay.
No. They've got good attitudes.
They got great attitudes. They're a lot like Jeremy and
Liam.
Yeah.
I like that would take them far though, because it's like you're not taking it as serious. Like that could like help them, I feel like, go kind of far.
I agree. Like there's got to be a little bit of fire, underneath.
But it makes good TV. Yeah, it's good TV. They're fun to watch.
Or like when he almost left the clue with that guy. Remember?
Oh yes, that was cute though. I found it cute, but also it's cute because they're not.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like I don't see them in contention to like be a big winner. If Cesar and Ricky would have did that, I'd be like, what are y'all doing? Come on, like y'all got to keep
because they came to play, right? Yeah,
right. Exactly.
I get that.
It's a mindset for sure. Yeah.
So let's talk about the roadblock. These roadblocks earlier on, they don't be nothing for real. No shade. Like it's like, okay, these are really easy, but as the game gets like later, it gets harder. But this roadblock was just cute, just paint a face. I mean, Lee would have painted my face.
Right. We could have ate that up.
Really?
Yeah.
First of all, okay, I don't want to get all like living in our season and you compare, but that's all I got. My experience is comparing our season to this season. That one, the judges seemed very lenient on that one, right?
Not to mention, part of the roadblock is you are not allowed to talk to your partner at any point. You can't help them. You can't give them a hint.
Those are the rules. Yeah.
And there was a lot of chatting.
It was.
I forgot that was a rule.
And then there was too much talking for me.
Yeah, we're like, how is this a roadblock? This needs to be a detour. They're working together. you know?
I wasn't too happy with that because I was like, I think it was Vinny. He was talking a lot, and I was like, how is he not in trouble right now? And I think a few other people, but it was
So I compared our second roadblock to their second roadblock. Our second roadblock was the lotus flower with you, right? Which was like super hard, and the judge
that was pretty intricate.
Right, and then this one was really like some looked great, and then other ones you're like, how did that one pass? Are you kidding me? You know,
true.
Yeah, so
maybe because this one was still in their first location, maybe the next one's gonna be hard. But
that could be it. Yeah,
because this was like a mega leg, so it's like they were like, okay, this one can be. What was the one last episode? I don't even remember the Roadblock last episode.
I will say with like Caesar and Ricky. Todd, and they showed it on this particular episode, but like this happened to Todd and I a lot on the race, and this is exactly what we would change when we go back on, and when
speak it into existence, man. Get it.
Is I think Caesar had said that he's like a perfectionist, and he does drag makeup, and it needs to be perfect, and I think if he would have just done the bare minimum, right, and not try to be perfect and make it and it looked fantastic, right?
Yeah.
But I think if he would have just like done a little bit less, they probably would have gotten in first, because that first and second place, they were right foot in foot. So I think part of the race that we did learned, too,
is the number one thing.
It's not about being like, not about completing the task to perfection. It's just getting it checked and done.
So you're not doing the face paint for your friend going to a party. You're doing a face paint for your school teacher just trying to get done with the homework, right?
Yeah.
Like you just got to do the bare minimum.
Just make sure all of the points are taken care of, and then move on. You know, so.
That's definitely so true. Like, I feel like I've noticed, like, while watching, like, some of these judges, they will accept anything. And when they're making you build something, they just want to see it look orderly. It don't have to be as detailed. It just has to be put up right. But I feel like I've noticed sometimes, like, these judges just do not care. Or, like, and then they'll judge another person. And it's like, why are they getting judged harder? But you just let this pass. Like, that doesn't make any sense. But whatever, I guess.
This when like every other person on the race was getting checked in, and I'm thinking like, what am I doing wrong? You know, like I to this day I don't know what I did different from like me not getting checked or passed, and so it's like it really is just kind of like
that's saying anything.
Amber took a long time too. That's why Benny was talking, because he was like, okay, girl, I know you're a perfectionist, but you need to
she was playing in that man's face.
Yep.
Vinny hit it right on the head. Vinny, that's what you're supposed to do. Just do the bare minimum, get checked. Okay, more, fix it up, get checked again. If it takes 3-4 checks, get out of there. Don't try to make it perfect.
Yeah, that's very true. What's up? Go ahead.
I would say about Walla Walla. I had with the mama, Angie, when she was just like, I need a moment, like I need to lay down. And I just wanted to like give her a hug, because like it looked really hot out there.
Yes.
However, if I was Danny, I would have been like, Mom, lay down and I'm going to still paint your face. Like, you need to just keep making sure, like, don't stop, right? I would have been like fanning and then like painting, because bless her heart, man. That looked rough.
That's probably hard having a teammate, like having a parent teammate if they're like a little bit older, a little less athletic, because Chris was finna fall out and throw up too. Chris was throwing up on Mary, and Angie was falling out too. And it's like, oh my God.
Mary was such a good sport though.
She was.
She really
was.
She was just like, yeah, Dad, let's just sit. I would have been like, get to
go.
Like Anna Lee.
But that's what I was saying. I was thinking that. I was like, it's so interesting to see how Danny and Mary are, and thinking back to Anna Lee last season, because Anna Lee would have been like, you need to get up. We gotta go.
Yeah. You can throw up later. Thank you.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'd like to hear what Anna Lee says about Mary and like how she
That was really funny. But another thing that was funny was, as Caesar and Ricky and Letitia and Rod are headed to the pit stop, we see Michelle and Sean pulling up to the roadblock first. And they're not the only team who did this, because we see Karishma Shori do the same thing. How does that happen? Like, that was insane. Maybe they were tired and hot, so they couldn't think.
I think it's a combination of things. I think it's number one, it's race brain, right? That's a actual thing where you're like, you are just in such a go mode that like it is very hard for you to take a step back, because you think if you slow down, to like make a better decision and like, hey, let me take 30 seconds to think this, like to pay a little more attention and think this through. You think that 30 seconds is going to cost you? No, it's not. Like, take that step. Not to mention, like, it wasn't even on a bridge. Like, they walked up to the thing and
in a random corner of the world. Like, come on now.
And the cousin,
that was very
like,
silly.
I don't know who said it. I think the tall cousin, Harishma. She was like, "This isn't a bridge," and her cousin was like, "It's fine. It's fine. We're just gonna do it." And she was like,
and that's what happened last episode. She was like, "Read the note." She was like, "Read the note," and she was like, "Girl, I got it." Didn't have it. She was like, "This ain't a bridge. Are we sure?" Didn't have it. And then when they actually were painting, the taller one was like, "Okay, let's ask them just to make sure." And that was, I like the activeness of that, because even though they be wrong a lot, they're more concerned about being wrong. And I think that if they can fix that it can help them last in the game. Because Sean and Michelle was just in there painting, having a good time. They heard them talking and was painting.
I do wish that the cousins would have made it a little more secretive and had gone up to Juan and Shane and maybe said like, hey, like whispered, because that would have been a really good opportunity to correct yourself and like course correct without having. Please come up to the main office. Sorry guys, we're
okay. You're good. You're all good.
We're going up.
All right.
So I think it would have been a really good opportunity to course correct without giving everyone else a chance to course correct as well, you know? So,
right. And what a great opportunity. Like if you could trick like a decently strong team to lose before like a weaker team. I mean, that's what you want to do.
Right. Because Michelle and Sean could get ahead of them.
Yeah.
And you could just let them get the race. Because even when they heard them, Michelle turned around and kept painting this man's face. It's like, you need to go.
Yep.
You could tell. They were just panicked though.
Keep doing it. You're on the right track. Go.
They were so panicked though.
This is where I feel like it was so obvious how different the detours were, because after these last couple of teams, mind you, people have already checked into the pit stop. It was so far of a difference seeming like, because y'all are not even at the detour yet. But when these last couple of teams started doing the challenges and how all of them went to color correction at first, you saw that the one team that didn't was Vinny and Amber. And Vinny and Amber finished those balloons so fast, and they were all still struggling at the color. And it's like, y'all all need to just leave and go over there. And they did. But it's like, ooh, it was such a difference of the detours. That's crazy. They need to fix that, because this should not have been that.
I suspect that it was a little editing magic to make it look closer than it really was. I bet you it was like a landslide with the top teams compared to other teams.
I could see that.
Yeah, because the confessionals was at night for the people who lost. The last three, they were at nighttime. I was like, ooh, one of them is going home.
That was like the Philly Johns, like last season. Remember when it was just like day, and then like dark, and everyone just knew. Oh, my girls.
Yeah.
But yeah, it just you could tell there's that little editing magic going on that one.
Right. They definitely try to make it seem as close as possible towards the end. It's like, we know. It's okay.
I'll tell you what, there was no editing magic with Letitia and Rod and Assessor. And,
right.
Like, because they literally got there and then they came around the corner. I was like, whoa, that was really close.
They're probably going to be beefing the whole...
Right. That's going to be the beef of the season.
I know.
Which will be interesting.
Yeah, I suspect it's going to be between them two. So...
Mm-hmm. And this episode kind of ends off with a bunch of teams getting lost on the way to the pit stop. And I feel like that would be the most frustrating time to be lost, because I've finished everything. We just have to check in and we're lost. That would be so unfortunate.
That's also the most like nerve-wracking and anxiety-ridden time of the race, is when you're like, hey, I'm done with everything. Now we just got to find Phil.
And that's when it's the hardest sometimes.
That's when you see the bickering, go up, and the anxiety and all that. So,
the twins and Amber and Vinny are too chill for me, because they were just walking around. Oh, well, where do we go? And I don't know. Y'all got to move, run.
Yeah. I agree. Like I said, like no more walking. Like, I mean, maybe that's indicative of this particular season, but
there's several teams that are walking. I'm like, what are they doing?
Pick up the pace. Yeah, for sure.
Some of them can't help it though, because I'm looking at Walla Walla and Chris and Mary. They just like, hey, come on, but I love that Walla Walla.
They can help him. You saw Emily making him run. They can do it.
And Anna Lee would have been like, Dad, get on my back.
But at least
get on my back, and I'm gonna carry you. like the rest of the way.
But at least the teams with like the older parent, right? Like they're walking, but they're running.
Yeah.
You know, they're like so tired. They're giving in their max effort, and that's all you need.
Yeah.
But some teams are just like walking around and you kind of like, oh, what's over here? So it's kind of.
And I noticed with Walla Walla, like even though like they were walking, like I feel like the navigation was on point, so they still got 6. So it's like
they were team really and they were surprised, and it's like, girl, you did good.
Yeah.
Because everyone else is running around, they don't know where they're going, and they slow and steady.
I thought it was interesting. I think even on the first episode, there were some teams that even spoke Spanish that were still getting lost. But Walla Walla, like, I don't think they speak Spanish, but they were like on point, like they didn't get lost at all. Like, so I think that they're.
Although I will say, it looked like a lot of people spoke English in
English?
Yeah, it did. Because there was a lady. The twins walked up to a lady and she was just speaking to them. And she was like, "It's around the corner up there."
Yeah.
And it was.
I like he's like. What was the lady
I don't remember.
that at the bridge, the famous person that stood on
Elizabeth
I don't know her name either.
I don't even know who Elizabeth Taylor is. I'm like,
yeah.
Like,
I was shocked.
Yeah.
I was like, but no, I will say the cousins, they give me Lena and Morgan. Like, do you guys sense that? Like,
I see that.
I do see that.
Yeah,
that's funny.
Yeah, they have this like bickeringness that I'm like,
Lena and Morgan vibes for
sure. Yeah, I like that.
I'm rooting for them. How, do y'all have any more thoughts about the episode or just the teams in general?
I think I will say I think the overall episode was it was good. I was shocked that like so quick in the episode they were already going to a pet stop. Because being a race fan, like I'm all about just like give me more. Like I want all of it. You know, if I could watch it all the time, I would. But so I kind of felt like it was really short. The tasks were a little easier. But I think for time they had to speed it up. But I think overall the teams are really good. I obviously the standouts for us are Team Orange and
Cesar
and Ricky and maybe the military. They were kind of
the pilots,
You know, about the military people, I was like thinking, are y'all gonna be as cutthroat as what was their names? The winners of last season. How I forget their names? But y'all gotta be about y'all business. Y'all gotta be really on it if you're gonna be a military team. And when you can't be nice and Remy and So I feel like they're kind of in between the two. They're kind of like a little bit relaxed, but also still about their business. Because when they were trying to tell Karishma and Kishore, they were trying to tell them the answer, like what you need to do. But they were also like, "Oh, let us start first. Hold on." And then let's get to it. So I liked that.
I liked when they did that. They said, "Okay, well, we're gonna get started,
and then we'll let you know."
Yeah, exactly. I think overall the cast is great. I'm anxious to see what else is in store for them. And like, are they doing charter flights? I don't know.
Yeah.
I think
they are.
I think it is because
like
this was filmed
before.
Okay.
The COVID regulation season.
So my takeaway is like it's not like the original season, so it's like it's a little like that kind of bums me out a little bit too. So, but I'm very interested to see those top 4 how they play out, because I mean, like our season, Victor and Jocelyn killed it for the first 2 and then lost.
Yes,
and so,
that was crazy.
That was
crazy.
I mean, it was crazy, but I was like,
I wasn't mad about it. So I'm hoping something like that happens, but I don't know.
Stir things up.
Yeah. I love when an unexpected team like gets first. It's like period.
Yeah,
like Shore and Karishma get first one random time.
The thing about our season is even some of the teams in the back end could like rise to the top.
Yeah.
I don't know if I see that in this season.
Yes,
you know, not yet.
They're just not equally stacked, I feel, or just they're not all in a more competitive.
I feel like you guys, y'all were really all on the same page a little bit. Like this one, like there's a big gap it seems from the top 4 and the rest. No shade.
Yeah. So
I agree.
What happens? Hopefully, there's going to be some shifting in the rankings. So I'm excited to see.
It'll be exciting. It'll be a good season.
Yeah, I'm happy to see the rest of the season too. Thank you guys for coming on again. It was so great having you guys. Honestly, you guys are a blast. So thank you for that. And look, that's it. I don't know. That's it. We're gonna be covering the rest of the Amazing Race. So if you're watching, just make sure you tune into the rest of the Amazing Race. We're also covering Survivor and Big Brother Canada. So if y'all are into that, get into that. And thank you for keeping it real with the Kingdom. We're out.